Hello. We are, hello. We are talking about 6 tips to help you navigate through this holiday if you have lost a loved one. So, if this is your first time here, let me introduce myself. My channel is 50 something original. I have your best interests at heart, and my channel has 3 different parts. So the first part is your health and well-being that I'm very concerned about. And then the second part is my life as a kidney donor, and I update periodically. I have a whole series called My Life as a Kidney Donor. And then finally, the third part is I have funny stories with my daughter called Mom and Tiff. So if you are here for the first time, welcome. And if you are watching this, go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss when I upload, and share this video. All right, so 50 something, that's what my channel is about. So we're going to get started. All right, it can be very difficult in the holidays because if you've lost a loved one, and I'm coming from a point where, let me put this disclaimer out there, I'm not an expert, but I have had losses myself. I've lost my mother, I've lost my mother-in-law, I've lost sister-in-laws. I've even lost one of my best friends. And so I feel like I come from a place and I understand. And so I wanted to go ahead and jump in and give you 6 tips that helped me. And then hopefully that will also help you. Now, if you are here to get support, I would love for you to type. Now, if you're here, definitely to to get um, to get help, I want you to type in support. But if you're here to support somebody else, then I want you to type in that you want to encourage. Okay, so if you're here to get help, put support. If you're here to help somebody else, put encourage. All right, we're going to start with the very first point. Now, in the chat, tell me who you are. Like I said, support, encourage, so that I know. And then I'm going to be asking you different things throughout. So make sure that you engage, definitely. So this is my first time really doing a real live chat. And so there may be some bumps along the way, but bear with me. I am attempting to put the your comments on this side. So if you would go ahead and put a comment and even say hello, I just want to see if it works for the people that are here. All right, so we'll start with the very first point. All right. My first point that I want to drive home is that allow yourself time to grieve. Allow yourself time to grieve. All right. So if you've lost a loved one, you go through so much pain, so much hurt, and it is so important to go through the grieving process. Allow yourself time to grieve, because you never know, right? You never know. We'll be right back. Yes. So make sure that you allow yourself time to grieve. Now, I'll give you my story. As I get settled in, it'll flow a little bit better. So experts are saying that you should be in what is called acute grief for about a year. Now, I don't think there's a time limit. It's pretty much based on an individual. So for me, for instance, even 2 years after my mother passed, when I would go to the doctor and they would ask just a simple question as, are your parents living? I would start to tear up. And so that for me was not completely resolved. I would say it took me 2 years to completely get that out of my system where somebody would ask a question or I would be talking about my mother and start getting teary-eyed. Now that doesn't mean that once you get past that acute grief, whereas that 1 year time period or so, that periodically you're not going to you're not going to get teary-eyed when you think about that person. So know that it's an individual thing. But if you are stuck, if you are completely stuck in that acute grief period where you're constantly crying, you can't get a hold of yourself, it's just debilitating, you don't want to get up, I would suggest that you reach out to a professional, a healthcare professional, because you would need extra help in getting through that. But if you are just like me, where it's not because if you're thinking about your mom or you're thinking about that loved one, and right now in the season something comes up and you're teary-eyed, that's okay. That's okay to think about that person and have that going on. Okay. Um, the next thing now, if anybody has any comments about allowing yourself time to grieve, I'd like to know in the comments, how long do you think it took you to get out of that real grief? How long do you think it took you to get out of that real grief? So if you would put that in the comment, whether it was 1 year, whether it was 2 years, whatever it was, um, let me know so that I can we can help somebody else, because when you share, then it helps other people. Um, Now, if there are any problems, just make sure that you let me know, um, because this is, like I said, this is my first real life. Okay, so we're going to move on to the second point. And also, before I move on, I wanted to say this live broadcast will also be on my channel. So if you want to watch it later, or maybe some of you are watching this later, go ahead and leave in the comments how long it took you to get out of an acute grief. All right, so we're moving on to my second My second advice is, remember the good times you had together. Remember them and smile and think about all the good times, because there were more good times than not. There's an old saying that says, my good days outweigh my bad days. So if you really think about it and you reminisce, you will remember all the wonderful times. Around Christmas, it may be baking with the person. Might have been shopping with the person. If it was a parent, it might have been traveling to where they were if you don't live in the same state. So remember the good times that you had together. Um, and also, if anybody wants to share some of the good times that you've had, go ahead and put that in the comments, or in the chat. One of the good things that I remember with my mother was a baker, and she loved to bake. So there are certain scents, especially her bread. She would make this bread that it was her own secret recipe that it just filled the whole house. And so when I think about good times with my mother, I think about those things, the smell of the bread. And I have her recipe, so I make that, and that makes me feel better. Um, the other thing that I want to say is just remember, like I said, in addition to all the good times that you had together, remember their smile, think about the way they walked. You know, if it brings a little bit of sorrow, that's fine. You're working through it, but it also should bring you joy. Um, think about their favorite song, right? Because my mother would wake up in the morning and she would start belting out gospel songs. And so that those are the type of things that you want to cherish and you want to hang on to. All right, the next point that I'd like to bring to your attention and for you to think about is to take on an activity, right? Take on an activity. Um, for me, exercising was the best thing. I advise exercising because exercising allows you to release endorphins, and that makes you feel good. It gives you a good feeling. Take up a sport, take up a hobby, right? You might even be able to start sewing something for somebody because you've taken on an activity. Do something that is going to take your mind off of that grief, right? So take on an activity. It could be doing exercises. If you've looked on my channel, I have often featured family members that do exercises, and one of them is my sister Kukwa Fitness. So Google that and you'll see what I'm talking about. When I'm done with that workout, I am extremely happy and I feel good. So you want to make sure that you take on an activity, exercise, sports, games, whatever it is, take on an activity so that you can begin to heal and move on. The next point I want to make, my point number 4, is to do something for someone else in need. So you're in grief, right? When you do something for someone else, when you help somebody else, you get so much out of that. Just entirely so much out of that. So make sure that you are doing something for somebody else. It helps if, let's say, you're lonely and there's another person that's lonely. Well, invite that person over so that maybe the two of you can have a dinner together, or go out and do something together. But make sure that you're helping other people. If there's a young mother that lives by you that has little children, you might want to even babysit for them just to alleviate that stress. And that would make you feel so much better. You will get so much out of it. So just make sure that you are doing something for someone else. And then the fifth point I wanted to drive home to you would be, don't be alone. Be around family or friends. Don't be alone. It's hard enough as it is that you've lost a loved one. And it is even worse. It's exacerbated when you're by yourself. Because when you're by yourself, you are just thinking about that person and you are brooding over it and you're just depressed about it. And so this holiday season, the best thing you can do for yourself is to be among family or friends. Do not be alone at all. All right? It's just important. If you're here and you would like to chime in with some other tips, please feel free to do that. You can put that in the comment, and I will definitely see that. All right, before I get to the sixth point, um, let me see for a minute here. I want to make sure I am. seeing everything. All right. So the sixth point would be, all right, so the sixth point would be to do something in their honor. Okay, to do something in their honor. Now, that one is not showing as well. So let me go back and do the fifth. The fifth one is set up better, and then I'll fix the sixth one, and hopefully I can show that. So while I'm doing that, I know there's a person watching, so go ahead and put something in the comments. Let me know whether this is being helpful. If you have any suggestions, I would love to hear that. So go ahead and put it in the comment so I can hear, I can see it. But definitely, yes, don't be alone. The other thing that I like to do is I like to listen to gospel music. I love to listen to gospel music because it ministers to me and it just helps me considerably. So that's what I would say you want to do. You want to do anything in your power to just be happy, have a happy disposition. All right, so here comes the sixth one is, let's see if we got it fixed. Yes, success. All right, is to do something in their honor. Do something in their honor. So, for instance, my mother was very altruistic. She loved to give to people. So when in the season when you give to others, you're honoring that person. If they were somebody, the other thing was my mother's um, favorite, her favorite charity was St. Jude's. So you could give in honor of that person. So for instance, give to St. Jude in my example, because that would be honoring my mother. That was something she loved to do. So let me know in the comments, what are some of the other things that you can do to honor your loved one that has passed away? Let me see if I can initiate the comments and see if I will actually see my comments where it should be. So let's see. Oh, hi, love your vids. It really helps. Oh, absolutely. Thank you, Anasha. And let me see if I need to pull this back up so that I can see. You're definitely welcome. Um, Let me know if there are any other questions or any other videos that you'd even like to see, and I will most definitely do that. Um, but I was hoping to see the comments in the screen beside me, but I guess it's not showing up there. So I'll have to look at it at on on YouTube. Okay. So oh, how do you well, you can't help me, but Anashe Chimera, am I saying it right? So hopefully I am. But anyway, are you here to get encouragement or are you here to support somebody? Let me know. Yeah. So, yes, definitely. Let me know if you are. And then I appreciate so much that you stuck with it. And of course, I know that once this gets loaded up, there'd be more people to see it as well. So Are there any questions that you have? Anasha, did you have any questions? If not, you don't have to. You could just say no, you don't have any questions, and that's fine. So I'm definitely, this is, like I said, I'm gonna have to work on trying to show the chat on the screen because I thought I had that, but it's not showing. So, but yeah. All right, so that is what I have for today. I will definitely get this ready and have it loaded up. And I so appreciate you. If there's anything I can do, Anashe, please feel free to reach out to me. Um, message me, and I will definitely reach out to you as well, one on one. And so, if anybody is watching this for the first time, go ahead and subscribe and hit the bell so you won't miss the next time I upload. And um, definitely go ahead and share this video because it doesn't matter that we only had one very important person on this chat, but there may be many more watching this after it's posted. So share this video so we can help somebody else in this season. All right. So as I always say, doing something is better than nothing. And see you next time.